The director now will take roll call, please. Marty, would you like to take roll call?
Yes. Kathy James, Commission Chair.
Here.
Susan Scher, Commission Member.
Here.
And Martha Giacomini is absent.
Right. Okay. Do I need to read the whole paragraph that's under open session?
Probably a good idea.
Okay. So we are, as authorized by the governor's emergency executive order, which was issued on March 12th, Ukiah Unified School District Personnel Commission will conduct a personnel commission meeting via video conference, telecommute until further notice. The meeting will be streamed via UUSD's live YouTube channel. Members of the public who wish to address the commission may do so during the meeting, but you are asked to please use the public comment forum prior to the start of the meeting. The forum can be accessed on the Personnel Commission website at https UUSD and under the district department's Personnel Commission and selecting meeting agenda. Okay, so we did our roll call. At this time, I'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everybody could stand, please. Hi, Lori. And Lori, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I pledge
Thank you.
allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America,
And
to the republic
for which it
for which it
stands,
stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice.
and justice for all. Great, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Ian, for the flag. Okay,
No problem.
so our number 4 on our agenda is the approval of the agenda, and I will need a motion, and I will have to second that.
I move to approve today's agenda.
Okay, we have a motion to approve today's agenda. I will second that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, agenda is approved. Number 5 is our organization updates. And this is an opportunity for the commission, the district administration, or CSEA representatives to make a brief announcement, report on his or her own activities, or ask questions. So there is Lisa. Hello. Do you have anything you want to say at this point?
Sure. Hello. Hope everybody's well. Good to see everybody. We were able to award we had 4 seniors apply for scholarships this year, and we awarded 4. We used to only do 2. I knocked it up to 3, and now we did 4 this year because of COVID, and we felt like they weren't going to have a regular graduation. And so anyway, we were able to award $500 scholarships to each one of the students that applied. And myself, my first vice, second vice, and the treasurer will be attending the virtual CSEA conference this year on mid-July. Other than that, we've not been, COVID. So we're trying to do what we can to support from virtually. And our unit, it's the regional one, is working closely with the state and local agencies to try to figure out how we're going to get back to school, what we can do to support classified members and the students and keep everybody safe. I think our district's doing a bang up job trying to figure that out themselves. So we're blessed to be with Ukiah Unified. That's really all I have to report.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else at this point want to say anything? I think I'm going to make this part really brief, but it's later on in the meeting, I'd like to look at rescheduling our July meeting, not having that July meeting, and going to having our meeting in August sometime. I think that with all the decisions and the unknowns right now, I think July and most of August, I think it's going to be filled with a lot of stress and a lot to do. And I think all of you need some kind of a break. So anyway, we can address that later on, I guess, in the meeting. Suzanne, anything you want to report?
No, thank you.
Okay. Number 6 on our agenda is our community input, and this is where members of the audience are welcome to address the commission, and especially just for items not listed on our agenda. The public who wishes to address the commission are asked to please use the comment forum prior to the meeting. So I wonder, do we have any?
Actually, I didn't look. I'm looking right now. I'm sorry.
Look, and
Okay.
we did not receive any comments
Okay.
unless somebody sent something directly to you in your email.
No,
No. Okay, then I'm going to continue to move through the meeting. Our next item is number 7, and this is our consent agenda, and I will need a motion to approve that.
I move to approve today's consent agenda.
Okay, and I'll second that. So all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Say aye. Okay, motion
Yeah, Kathy,
passes.
your sound's
Um,
kind of going in and out a little bit.
Okay, report. Pardon me?
Your sound it sounded like you were underwater.
I do?
Yeah, maybe if you get closer to the microphone, that would probably help.
Okay, I can't get much closer than this.
That's better than it was before.
Okay. This part of our meeting involves reports from our human resource assistant soup, Nicole Ginsler, and then our personnel commission director. So Nicole, would you like to report
Sure.
anything?
The main thing to report is that we're working to determine reopening options for the fall. We've had a couple weeks now of different working groups looking at various aspects of reopening, such as instruction, safety, food service, transportation. Marty and Lisa and I are on the working group that's looking at staffing and training. So there's been a lot of people putting in a significant amount of work trying to educate ourselves on what other districts are doing, on what science says, on what people say, trying to figure out what plans make sense. So right now we have 4 rough plans that are still in draft form that we need to make a determination, or the board needs to make a determination as to which one will be our opening plan. And we have the idea that there's the possibility that we may have to change plans once a school year starts. The lesson learned last year was we need to be ready for remote learning. And so one of our plans is remote learning. We're hearing a lot about the importance of getting kids back in school. And of course, in education, we know that is important, but we also need to weigh various safety concerns. So you can imagine there's a lot of very emotional and difficult conversations happening and discussion and research. So the board will have a special board meeting on July 13th where they'll make a decision. That even that decision would be subject to change if public health tells us that we need to change it. The public health officer for Mendocino County will review and give input on our plans as well. So Deb Cubit's been working really hard to make sure that we have as much information as we can to make educated and informed decisions on what recommendations we will give to the board. And I know that the board takes this decision very seriously. So that's the main thing that we have going on, is working on what the fall will look like. And it's probably the hardest work without any sense of exaggeration. This is the hardest work I've ever done in my career. And all those in education that I talk to feel the same. This is the hardest work we've ever done, trying to figure out what next year will look like. So that's what we're working on. And since that is kind of overshadowing everything else that's going on, I think I'll end my report with that.
Okay, thank you. Any questions
thank
for
you.
Nicole?
I just want to thank you all. It sounds like you're all doing a really heroic job. And I hope the burnout factor isn't making you all a little crazy, teachers included.
Yes, yes. Thanks.
I would second that. And if there's anything I can do to help in any way, please let me know. Or even if the commission can do anything to help the district follow through with anything.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so Marty, your report?
We have a few hirings and a few resignations. Majority of the resignations has to do with the changing of positions from the district to the Mendocino County office, and a few, again, just changing of positions. And then in my office happenings, Nicole touched on it briefly, some of the surveys that have gone out as far as what schools look like when we return, as well as options and the work we've been doing to try and come up with as many options as possible so that when those decisions do come down, we're not starting from scratch. We have a game plan. The other thing is I wanted to make sure that you all had the opportunity to see the billboard out on Highway 101 north of Ukiah in the southbound lane. I think Doug did a really great job at congratulations of the class of 2020. And in case you can't tell, blur in the lower left-hand corner is the names of all the graduates. So it's just kind of fun, and I'm glad that that was finally up and we were able to get that accomplished. The other thing I wanted to touch base on is that we had interviews for a couple of family liaison positions. And because we were able to garner so many applicants on Indeed, we were able to combine those interviews, and 7 people went up for interviews. We had a second round of interviews today because we had a little bit of technical difficulty with interviewing via Zoom with a couple of our applicants. And so I believe that both sites have made their choice and will let us know soon so that we can let all the applicants know. We also have another family liaison position or interview for another site coming up probably next week. We have to wait until the decision is made for the 2 sites so that we can do our ranking for the new site. And I'm sure I'm missing a lot, but I am just came back from vacation and I think my brain is still up in Hat Creek fishing.
That's okay. That's a better place to be.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't know, Lori, I mean, we never do this, but is there anything that you want to add?
Oh, thank you. No, not necessarily. Just we're busy, and it's good to be busy, and things are different than they normally are. Everything's, being online, and I've mailed out a couple of the first day packets, or not first day packets, the pre-employment paperwork to people because they just are having a hard time on the computer. But it's great to see people interested in some of our positions, and hopefully that keeps on. Thank you.
Okay, thank. All right. So we're going to move into number 9, and this is our some of them are discussions, some actions. The first is 9.1. It's a proposed 8.8 and 408.8-1. And I think isn't this our second reading?
It is. This is a second reading.
Mhm.
This was brought at the last meeting for clarification purposes and to align better with Ed Code. My recommendation is to eliminate PC Rule 408.4 and let's see. I apologize. 408.4, and then make the minor changes that were given to you with removing some of the verbiage from 408.8 because it's farther down in 408.8-1, and then adding the little bit of language that's in the blue for clarification purposes. And to kind of fall in line with the district and the board's request as far as examinations go.
Mhm.
Examinations, rather than in the traditional sense that we've done them in the past, will be more aligned with the application and interview process, with the caveat that a task may be assigned or some other qualifying item such as that, just so we make sure that we're getting the best applicants possible without eliminating potential great applicants at the same time.
So this basically reads the way we saw it last meeting.
That's correct.
Okay. Susan, do you have any
Yeah,
comments?
just a technical question. So you've eliminated the entirety of 408.8, but you need to keep it in because it's like the introductory section to the subsection.
So in essence, 408.8 will just be the header that says conduct of examinations, and then 408.8-1
Mhm.
goes into more detail.
Right, with the blue, yeah. It occurred to me, we talked a lot last month about people who get nervous taking written tests. But if someone says, I get nervous doing an oral interview and I'd rather take a written test, is that a choice they have?
At this time, I would say no, just because for any position, you have some kind of interview, informal or formal. And ours are the same way, that if it's an entry-level position, it's more of an informal interview. And then some of the classified management, I want to say higher tiered positions.
Mhm.
But also the bargaining agreements and Ed Code and the board policies all dictate that we have some kind of interview to allow administration and staff to make the best selection. And if it's just based off an exam, that doesn't give them what they need.
Okay, that makes sense. People have all different sources of their anxiety.
Right.
Yeah, I think this looks fine. And like Kathy said, there's no surprise here. It's what we talked about.
Right.
And Nicole, I don't know if you have anything to add or any questions, or Lisa.
Nicole, did you hear Marty?
Yeah, I did. I don't have anything to add. We've already looked at it and reviewed it, and I think it's moving in the right direction of trying to streamline the hiring process. And I appreciate the work that she's doing to that end.
Okay.
And
Okay,
Lisa,
so,
thumbs up.
oh, did Lisa leave?
Lisa did a thumbs up.
There she is.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. Is that what I saw?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I guess with that, I need a motion, please.
Oh, okay. So I move to approve the proposed changes to PC Rule 408.4, 408.8, and 408.8-1. Well, I should say adopt the proposed change.
Right, adopt the proposed, okay. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye. Okay, opposed? Okay, nobody opposed, so the motion passes. Okay, next on our agenda is, shoot. Clarification of the impact of Ed Code 45261, parens B, subject of rules. And this is not an action item. This is 9.2.
yes,
No?
yes.
Yes. Okay.
So this is being brought back, this is clarifying, we have a PC rule 403.11 that talks about the powers of the commission, but more so for clarification purposes, the education code says that if any of our rules are in conflict with a bargaining unit agreement, the bargaining unit agreement takes precedence, or if anything in the agreement is addressed, that applies. But we keep those rules in our PC rules because we also represent unrepresented employees, such as classified confidential and classified management. So it's important that people understand that the bargaining agreement takes precedence unless there is no bargaining agreement, at which point then the PC rules takes precedence. And so
Okay.
I was asked if there was a way to clarify it. So I provided 2 of the PC rules that clarify or address that Ed code. And so I just needed guidance, or if you wanted to take it a step further, or if that is sufficient.
My only concern is that I think it does fulfill that goal, Marty, but the language is so dense. I wonder if we could just have one simple statement, maybe in addition to this, like an introductory sentence that really reflects what you just said, because you said it in such a simpler, more straightforward way than this. These like 5 paragraphs say. I mean, I knew what it was saying because we had gone over this, but if I didn't know, I was just kind of glazing over reading this. And I thought for any employee who's trying to figure out what takes priority, their contract or the PC rules, I'm not sure, unless they're really patient reading stuff like this, that they would get it.
We've tried to clarify items such as this on our PC webpage, but not everybody sees that. So I are trying to brainstorm when we do job postings or we do anything, is to make sure that applicants and employees are aware that we are a merit district and what that means. And so along those lines, I will try to come up with a sentence or 2 that we can start adding to more and more documents to make it very clear.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, maybe that could just be the introduction to 403.11. Like one sentence, just stating it as like a summary almost. Somebody could read the one sentence and then not have to plow through the rest of this page, and they'll understand instantly what you're saying. Kathy, how do you feel about that?
I don't know if, well, I get what you're saying, Susan, and simple is always better. I don't know though, is this a format that we have to have it written that way?
The way it is now?
No.
Yeah.
No, we can paraphrase it like we've done with some of our others. And I could even talk to council about a recommendation or look at some of other merit districts to see how did they address that ed code or make it clear in their PC rules. And so I will do that and bring back.
I think just an introduction, like a summary should suffice.
It would probably be a good idea to have our legal counsel put their eyeballs on it anyway, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you did say it really simple to what it really meant.
I thought the way you described it would make
What
a
it's
great
about.
introduction, Marty.
All right.
So if you don't mind going back to council,
Okay.
that would be great.
Does that work for you, Marty?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. All right, so we'll move on to the next item then. And that would be 9.3, and that's a review of the rules that are direct quotations from law, in conflict with law, or summaries of law. And do you want to introduce us, Marty?
Absolutely. So what this is, at one point, the district had requested that we review our PC rules to make sure what is in ed code and what are we required to have versus what we have as far as optional language goes. Our legal counsel provided the feedback that's on the attached pages, and some of them we had already addressed when we did updates for ed code updates. Some of them she made clarifying comments, but this is more just kind of informational at this point, just to show you some of the things that legal counsel found. I would like to bring it back at a later date, maybe in September or October, when we're not trying to gear up and prepare for the next school year, and along with samples of maybe what other districts use for language. And so if any of those you have questions or comments about, then I can take them back to legal counsel, or like I said, find what other districts are utilizing and then take that to legal counsel to find maybe some better terminology or clarification.
This is as a result of some meetings back when we said we wonder if we're in line with things. And I think considering everything that PC and the district has on their table right now to figure out, I don't see any really immediate need to go into this right now. Do you, Susan?
No, it can wait. I was just curious, Marty, did you ask her about these specific sections, or these are the ones that had a red flag for her?
These are the ones that had a red flag for her, or that she made the comments on. She did go through our entire PC rules. So
Wow.
These are the only ones that, like I said, she took time to comment on. The rest she felt were fine or were in line with ed code.
Well, that's good. It's not that many.
Yeah.
For the whole thing.
That's, yeah, actually surprising.
The only
So
one
I don't know how the district feels about this, Nicole.
We would very much like more time, because we would like to be able to review what legal counsel has said and then make a recommendation to the PC on what the district would like to see with these rules. So, and we got these a while ago, actually, but we gave them a deadline. We asked them to be done sometime in May, I think. We know that we would receive them while we were scrambling with COVID-19 issues. So we would like time to review it. So September sounds like a more realistic timeline than trying to do any changes like at your next meeting.
Right.
The one exception that I would like to make is that at our next meeting, I would like to bring back a first reading of 407.2-5 and 407.2-6, only because we're it addresses the legalities of drug testing and or previous records, possible criminal records. And so I think it's important for us to address those sooner, just so that we're in compliance and we're not potentially opening ourselves up for a lawsuit. So Nicole, I will
Yeah, that
send
sounds good.
those two to you so we can maybe start addressing them. If that's okay with
Great.
you.
Yeah.
Are we up and running on the fingerprinting?
We are very close. We just got approval from the DOJ. They are finalizing our diagram and making sure that we have everything in alignment. The company that we purchased the equipment from is working diligently with our DOJ rep to make sure that we get it done soon. I anticipate we're within weeks away.
Great. So that would be good to have this defined and meet some clarity so that when that kind of stuff starts going through, we're clear about it. Okay, so maybe we could put that one on for the August agenda
Mhm.
if we change meetings.
Our next, yes.
Yeah. Okay, are you good with that, Susan?
Yeah, that's fine. I
Okay.
was just gonna say also that I assume that since Caitlin's highlighted these particular sections in her email to you, she thought they were maybe more urgent. So yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Okay. All right, Nicole, does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, great. Okay, staffing needs, 9.4, staffing needs and recruitment.
Currently, we have 4 bilingual family community liaison positions that we have recently filled, are in the process of filling, or need to fill. So that's been a huge focus for us. The rest, Nicole has been working with the bargaining units and various groups to make sure that all of our employees whose positions are moving to another agency or because of COVID or whatever, that everybody has a home. And so I've been trying to work with her a little bit on that, and the special ed department, because they seem to be the one that's impacted the most. And we have a head of plant and our district attendance specialist position that we've recently advertised for, and hope to have that filled here within the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay. All right, so before we go into closed session, is there any public comment regarding closed session items? I'll take that as a no. So we're going to move into closed